And I'm saying this to certain congresspeople in the state. Zero evidence of machines flipping votes. And that claim was a lie through 2020, and it's a lie now.
And stolen the presidency, but given up the Senate and House seats on the same ballot. Is it like when you cheat on a test, you purposely get a few wrong?
Picture this. It's election night 2020. Trump's watching TV, hamburger in hand, when suddenly the unthinkable happens. He loses, but in Trump's world, losing isn't an option. So what's a sore loser to do? Rewrite history, of course.
That election was so crooked. It was the most crooked election.
Okay, but give me some examples of how.
Well, let's start on the top and the easy ones.
Join Jimmy Kimmel as he takes us on a wild ride through Trump's alternate reality. We'll see how a simple election night turned into the never-ending story of the emperor's new votes. Grab your popcorn, folks. This tale is nuttier than a squirrel's winter stash. People, get ready for an amazing journey with Trump's enchanted mystery tour of alternative facts. Have you ever wondered what that orange skull's interior is like? Imagine a carnival amusement house where fabrication flourishes and the truth perishes. Here, reality is subordinated to Trump's everyday illusions. An excellent starting point is Trump's most recent stand-up act on Joe Rogan's podcast. Our hero, Donnie, is adamant about sticking to the election fraud narrative, saying, I won by like, they say I lost by like I didn't lose.
I won by like, I lost by like, I didn't lose, but they say I lost, Joe, they say I lost by 22,000 votes.
Trumpy, you have provided some very strong proof. Seeing a youngster argue that the cookie jar was empty is just as funny. Mama, it wasn't me. It was impossible for me to resist eating those cookies.
And stolen the presidency, but given up the Senate and House seats on the same ballot. Is it like when you cheat on a test, you purposely get a few wrong?
The worst part is that the rest of us are living in the real world while Trump is occupied with pretending. Voting machines, you know, aren't connected to the internet, so some nerd in someone's basement can't hack them.
And I'm saying this to certain congresspeople in the state. Zero evidence of machines flipping votes. And that claim was a lie through 2020, and it's a lie now. Multiple layers of security around several systems. And there's a misunderstanding that is one of the reasons disinformation can take root so easily.
It's almost as though Trump thinks that elections work like his Twitter account, where a single click adds 1 million imposters. Trump's theories are continually recalculating, but they never reveal the reality. Much like a GPS, in 500 feet, Crazy Town will be on your right. You're supposed to be on Delusion Avenue, instead of having a working GPS. Trump seems to have his inner compass set to avoid reality. We may now talk about Trump's greatest achievement, the phone call from Georgia. In an attempt to change the result, our would-be election disc jockey asked Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find 11,280 votes.
In Georgia, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and told him he just needed to find an additional 11,000 Trump votes.
Votes are, of course, as pliable in Trump's world as socks in the dryer. He can make them disappear and then reappear whenever he pleases. Consider this. In the other hand, Trump is probably holding a half-eaten Big Mac and a Diet Coke when he declares, I just want to find 11,180 votes. He seems to think that votes are hidden somewhere, perhaps beneath the cushions on the couch. Look behind the TV stand. Brad, please. In that corner, there must be thousands of votes. But wait a minute, Trump will keep changing the course of history. He is akin to a bad Hollywood screenwriter who is always revising the script but never recalls that the first draft was seen by everyone. In his next episode, Trump is going to accuse George Washington of being his caddy and of being the one who created democracy, so everyone should be on guard. That's all there is to Trump's mentality, which is like a funhouse mirror. Reality is up for grabs, defeat is actually victory veiled, and truth is subjective in our society. Kids, imagine you won the lemonade stand competition when things don't go your way. Was Trump successful? Get up, everyone, and witness the most amazing technical marvel since the invention of the wheel. Elon Musk is going to be envious of Donald Trump's clever plan to fight electoral fraud. The key question, though, is whether Trump's astute idea is truly new, or if he is just revealing a long-standing tactic that the rest of us have been using. Paper ballots are Trump's groundbreaking election security strategy, therefore everyone, put on your MAGA caps. Yes, this cutting-edge technology has been around since the dawn of democracy, and our own trustworthy genius has figured it out.
They aren't really hackable at distance, and people have never understood that, but that lack of understanding has been exploited by those who want to undermine people's confidence in our systems.
By envisioning a square as the wheel, he seems to have tried to market it as the newest and greatest form of mobility. But But wait a minute, notably, most Americans are already using paper votes, which would infuriate M. Night Shyamalan. Amazing, isn't it? It seems as though Trump has been living under a rock or in a golden skyscraper that bears his name. No one informed us that the solution to our election-related issues was in the polling places across the nation. Permit me to extend my forgiveness to old Donnie. His technological innovations have a history that would make even the most archaic caveman blush. Remember when he proposed using carrier pigeons to deliver Twitter? I was informed that he is also creating a revolutionary new means of communication known as the telephone. He will soon be entertaining us with stories about this amazing invention called fire.
This is an interesting twist. Trump says it wasn't him who tried to overturn the election, even though they have him on tape doing just that. It was them.
Let's set aside the humor and talk about the important issue of election security. The rest of the country has been utilizing a combination of paper and contemporary verification methods, whereas Trump has been depending on 18th century technologies. We seem to be living in the future while still taking advantage of the safety nets of the past.
Two, the fact of the matter is this is a dangerous person. This is a stupid person. And that's a bad combination.
Even the Federal Election Assistance Commission has joined the movement, recommending paper ballots for every election. In Louisiana, the issue is still being debated, probably in an effort to ascertain whether or not trees do in fact generate paper.
The ballots, because the ballots weren't signed. They weren't originals. We could go into this stuff. We could go into the ballots or we could go into the overall.
It's more than far. The line has been crossed. You are over there and the line is behind you.
I am aware that everyone is anxiously anticipating Trump's next wild scheme to sabotage the election's credibility. Will the traditional game of counting beans in a jar be played again? Alternatively, to settle any disputes regarding the result, how about a classic high noon duel? The possibilities are endless, even if one is unaware of the facts or even the most basic ideas. Everyone, let's get to the exciting part. Trump's inability to understand even the most basic elements of the political process is alarming, like watching a kid try to operate a big piece of equipment. Once the initial amusement wears off, you begin to fear that someone might be harmed. In this case, our democracy is at risk. And that's it, everybody. The accusations of electoral fraud are intricate, atypical, and readily refutable. Much like Trump's hair, like his comb-over, his crazy beliefs are unable to hide the truth. Verify every outrageous election claim as soon as possible so Trump doesn't have time to tweet fake news.
And I think what we're forgetting, I keep forgetting it, and I have to keep reminding myself, is he's not just running for president. He's running to stay out of prison.
Remember that in over 60 court cases, Trump's legal team failed to provide compelling evidence. In agreement with the masses, judges were rolling their eyes and calling the claims vague and lacking merit. But don't worry, reality will always win out over Trump's illusions. Like a terrible toupee, the truth will ultimately come to light, even though it might take some time.